Welcome to the Bald Brad Show. It is officially Thursday, July 25th. And folks, we're not going to be able to say this much longer. Joe Biden is by far, not even close, the worst president in American history. And folks, he's still running the show allegedly. This guy is still being the puppet for somebody. Who knows? Who knows? But it is Kamala Harris that is most likely going to be the nominee of the Democrat Party. She has enough delegates, folks. But remember, not a single person on this planet voted for Kamala Harris. We're going to get into all this stuff today, folks. We got a lot of news to cover for a freaking Thursday. But let's head over to the live chat. I see all of you over there. I see all the Patriots. We got Danielle. We got Troy. We got Lulu. We got Evangelina. Hopefully I'm saying that correctly. Kathleen. Snarf, his servant. ACDC for life. I love ACDC. Like Trump. I love ACDC. Pat's over there at Rumble. I see a sunset. The GMQQ. Autumn's here. Busy. We got all the Patriots joining us, folks, just to name a few. Well, let's jump right in the news of the day. We have a funny clip here that I have to show you. Because, you know, a lot of the news lately has just been really just sad and like, you know, people doing this and that, tearing apart the country. We'll get into that today. But before we do, let's have a little bit of a funny clip here of, you know, send this to a Democrat of having a brain. Maybe we could prescribe them a brain. Here we go.
I used to believe everything I'd see on the news, but that's before I discovered a brain.
A brain is meant for everyday use. Those living with moderate to severe stupidity have seen immediate improvement in common sense with a brain.
I thought the government had my best interests at heart, and then a friend told me about a brain.
Talk to your doctor about what news sources you obey. A brain may also lower your desire to take life-altering advice from celebrities.
Getting lectured about my carbon footprint from people with 3 private jets used to make sense. But thanks to a brain, now I can think for myself every day. When my disregard for 3rd grade biology began to flare up, I knew it was time for a brain.
Do not try a brain if you're allergic to a brain. Common side effects may include accountability, discernment, homeschooling your kids, a better understanding of economics, awareness of the stupidity of socialism, and diarrhea.
For tethering yourself to reality, the only no-brainer is choosing a brain. Ask your doctor if a brain is right for you.
For more information, visit tryabrain.com.
Oh man, if you have any Democrat friends out there, that is something to send them and see if they need it. They probably do. You know, as you saw, diarrhea might be a symptom, but I think it's worth it. I think it's worth it for them to wake up. You know, we've tried everything we can at this point. We've shown them footage. We've shown them stuff straight to their face. They've heard it. They've listened to it. And how they came back was, we're just conspiracy theorists, you guys. It's all deep fakes, cheap fakes. None of it is real. Really remarkable stuff here coming from the Democrat Party. Hopefully you guys wet your whistle. You're having a little bit of cup of coffee or tea with me this fine morning. So there was this clip that came out yesterday of Kamala Harris. And she's standing there. And, well, she comes out and says that somehow we have an alliance with North Korea, which is news to everybody, by the way. It's news that now North Korea is an ally to the United States. Folks, this lady knows nothing about foreign policy. She doesn't know anything about anything.
So the United States shares a very important relationship, which is an alliance with the Republic of North Korea. And it is an alliance that is strong and enduring. So the United States...
We're playing it again.
...shares a very important relationship, which is an alliance with the Republic of North Korea.
This is the lady, guys. This is who they chauffeured out there. This time not on a gurney, but, dude, she's terrible. And we'll get into it. That's for the later part of the episode, but we got a lot of clips here, folks. A lot of clips. Well, the big news yesterday that we all sat here together and talked about was Joe Biden's address. And I'm not going to break it down again. If you want to see my breakdown of his address, we did it live last night, and that's there for you. I don't want to subject you guys to Joe Biden's speech once again. And I also want to get into Karine Jean-Pierre's White House press briefing. Since we did not do that live, we got a lot of freaking clips from that bad boy. Boy, are we going to miss Karine? the content generator for the Bald Brad show? So he gives this address. It just blatantly lies through his teeth. I don't know why we expected, and maybe it was just me, Joe to come out with some bangers of truth, but that just didn't happen. And so what we have here is as doctors were reacting to Biden's live address to the nation, and what they said was there was a concerning lack of emotion. Well, why is that such a big deal? Well, we'll get into it here. So through that lack of emotion, by the way, some people are saying this was AI generated. I don't believe that to be the case. They said it wasn't live. That is probably true. Some people looked at his watch at different phases of it and was able to get a good screen grab, and it showed, I guess, a different time than what was being shown live. A lot of conspiracies out there, a lot of rumors, rather, I guess I should say. So he did not mention his recent COVID-19 infection, which was weird, and the ongoing concerns about his cognitive health, or his recent assassination, or the recent assassination attempt on the former president. I mean, it was a very weird address for somebody that was announcing that they're dropping out of the race after just a few days ago saying, I'm in it to win it. When you get knocked down, you get back up. Well, I guess he's staying down. I guess when you get knocked down, you get back up to get knocked down again. So Dr. Mark Siegel, a clinical professor of medicine at NYU and a Fox News medical contributor who has never treated the president, noted that Biden seemed to be reading from a teleprompter on Wednesday night, as he often does, making it difficult for those watching to gauge his medical fitness. I mean, you could see the I don't even know why he's saying this, that he seemed to be reading. You can actually see the teleprompter in the window reflection behind him. There's a massive TV there. The TV is so big on the teleprompter that in the reflection of the window, you can almost make out the words that he's reading. This bad boy is so big. So it's not that he seemed, it is 100% guaranteed that he's reading from a teleprompter. And I say 100% because we can all see the teleprompter in the window behind him. Although Biden stumbled over his words a few times, typical, Siegel was more concerned about the president's apparent lack of emotion. It's a very emotional time for him, and he isn't showing it. He seems to lack conviction. I feel compassion for him, Siegel went on. How can he quote from the Declaration of Independence without much conviction? I feel bad for him and for us. I don't feel bad for him. I don't. He lied to me, and he lied to my fellow patriots and the American people for 3.5 years plus. And he drove this country into the ground. Whatever gains we made, we lost. Folks, under Joe Biden, it used to be that you have to make $11,000 more under Joe Biden to just be where you were at under Trump. Now you have to make $15,000 more under Joe Biden just to be where you're at under Donald Trump. So if you're not making $15,000 more than you were 3 or 4 years ago, bare minimum, then you're doing worse off, just across the board. So there is no compassion here, and I'm not so sure how much he's actually aware of what's going on. You also had other people, a physician and medical school professor at UCLA and USC, my alma mater, USC, noted that he has never examined Biden but offered his observations based on Wednesday's speech. The findings in his previous presentations could have a variety of causes, including sleep deprivation. We know that's not true. This guy's getting so much sleep. I mean, he's getting so much sleep that his CPAP machine marks are on his face at times. Sedation, metabolic abnormalities, or even neurodegenerative diseases. I mean, that's probably it right there, that last one. And maybe some abnormalities, absolutely. Nothing's normal about this guy. He agreed, which is less demanding, reading from a teleprompter than more spontaneous Q&A debate format of his previous events. I mean, he hasn't done a Q&A. He did one. It was all scripted, right? This whole administration is scripted. I mean, Democrats have not been truthful for a long time. I mean, going back to the Obama administration, and why I say that, there's a great book called The People versus Barack Obama. Highly recommend you read it. It's something that I kind of quote a lot, is different aspects of that book in terms of what Eric Holder did, Hillary Clinton, and Barack Obama. I mean, they build a great case in that book of why Barack Obama committed espionage and other criminal acts. But I mean, there was stuff that they just blatantly lied to the American people about, to where it wasn't just, oh, it's a lie. Like you got these right-wing people like me going, oh, it was a lie. No, no, no. There is emails, there's text messages, there's photos, there's actual dead people. Like there's concrete to say that it was lying. Same thing with Joe Biden here. I know it's nothing new. I know we're beating a dead horse with it. But the reason why it's important is because they're just going to lie to us all again under Kamala Harris. Nothing is going to change here. If anything, everything's going to get worse with this person that's been chauffeured out by the Democrat Party and the deep state that we covered in yesterday's episode. So some other news here is Trump comes out regarding his assassination attempt. And the news is that the former FBI director is being called to resign by Donald Trump. I mean, this guy should just be resigning already because he's been known to lie to Congress. That whole thing, I think it was with Chuck Grassley, right? Previously with the FD 1023 form saying that it wasn't real and that he doesn't know what he's talking about. And then all of a sudden, Chuck Grassley holds it up. He says, I have it right here. Don't tell me it isn't real. And by the way, we know you've seen this. And then all of a sudden he changed his tune. This guy's a chronic liar. I mean, everybody that Joe Biden has put forth is a chronic liar, from the Secret Service director to the FBI director to the Department of Homeland Security Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas, to Karine Jean-Pierre, the White House press secretary, to John Kirby, the other spokesperson for the president, to Jake Sullivan, to Anthony Blinken, to hell, you name it. The Secretary of Defense literally didn't even tell the president that he had cancer, that he was going in for an operation. Nobody heard from him for a week. I mean, you could just go down the laundry list of things here where it has been nothing but lies from this administration. And I'm not going to say every administration is truthful. I'm not even going to go as far to say that Trump's administration is truthful. But there's a hierarchy of truth that we could probably analyze and look at. And I'd go as far to say Donald Trump was way more truthful than Barack Obama and Joe Biden. Way more truthful. So Ray was questioned yesterday, and at least we got more information, I'll give him that, than we did from the Secret Service director. And during the hearing, Matt Gaetz also questioned Ray about his interactions with Biden and if he witnessed the president's cognitive abilities going downhill. And this is where the lie comes in. Everybody knows Joe Biden's cognitively off. Everybody knows Joe Biden's not with us. And he said this, I don't meet with him very often, but what you're describing is not something that I've observed during my interactions with him. Live chat. Does anybody believe that? Anybody believe that over at Rumble? Autumn, Mizzy? Anybody believe that? Lily? You guys let me know. Sunset? Phonics? You guys let me know if you all believe that. You know, the odds of meeting with the president multiple times throughout his administration and never experiencing this has to just be astronomical. Astronomical. I mean, we've even heard from his own White House aides, and I've always used this. I mean, Joe Biden was so deranged. He was so far gone. This was probably about a year and a half ago, almost 2 years ago at this point, that his own White House aides were terrified that this guy would trip over a camera cable in the Oval Office and that he would fall over and just that's it for him, that he just deleted himself by tripping over a camera cable. That comes from Axios. I am not making that up. That is 100% a true story. This guy can't even find his own Oval Office. We've seen the video clip of the Secret Service directing him, and he just keeps going straight, like through the grass and the bushes. It's clearly a cover up, and the FBI is part of it, which is why I don't really trust the FBI to be doing this investigation. And just to let you know, the FBI director said, "Oh well, our investigation is pretty much solely on the shooter. We're not really investigating the Secret Service." Like what? What? It never occurred to you that he's not up to the job in all these briefings you did? As I said, my briefings with were completely fine. Now, there was another way he was saying this, and I can't believe nobody followed up with this. Ray would also say all my meetings with him were professional. So everybody that kept asking him about the president's cognitive decline and his ability to answer questions and basically be clear, he kept saying all his briefings with him have been completely fine, but that doesn't mean that he didn't sit there and see the president fumble through his words, get lost, fall asleep, or anything like that. He's just saying the briefing was fine. Well, what does that mean? can you define what you mean by detail of what it means by that? Also, what does it mean that your meetings were professional? I mean, what was everybody in a suit and all gathered around together? Is that what you identify as professional? I watched the congressional hearings today as Christopher Wray was asked the question whether or not he noticed any cognitive degeneration in many conversations with crooked Joe Biden. And despite the fact that counsel Robert Hur said effectively that Joe Biden is incompetent with little memory, Wray said that it is not something I observed during my interactions with him, which were uneventful and unremarkable, essentially stating he found nothing wrong mentally or physically with Joe Biden. Well, that's weird. And that came from Donald Trump. Folks, we've all seen it. That's the crazy thing. Why are we still being gaslit? Joe Biden's not running again. Joe Biden's done. He's riding off in the sunset. If that is the case, Director Christopher Wray should resign immediately, and I agree. So should DHS Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas, just like the Secret Service Director did, immediately from the FBI, and stop sweet-talking Congress every time he goes up. The guy's political, correct? Trump, correct. Which he loves to do because anybody could see that Joe Biden is cognitively and physically challenged. And if you can't see that, you sure as hell can't be running the FBI. Unless that is you want to illegally lead the raid on Mar-a-Lago, Wray has to resign, and now for lying to Congress, he added. Nothing will happen to him. If anything, he might be Kamala Harris's vice president, because when you do your job terribly, what do we always say here happens? You get elected to the highest levels of office in the Democrat Party. It's always been true. It still holds true. Look at Kamala Harris, the worst senator by data in the entire Senate. Remarkable statistic. Out of 100 senators, she was the worst one. There was nobody in that Congress that was further left than her. The Democrats chose somebody that is so far left and drove the state of California into the ground. They figured, perfect person, black woman, drove a state into the ground, could drive the country into the ground. We want you. That's a remarkable thing from the Democrat Party. You couldn't even make this stuff up, man. You really couldn't. Unbelievable. So there was this story that came out yesterday from Kamala Harris abolishing ICE, and it was asked in yesterday's White House press briefing, and this is what Karine Jean-Pierre had to say about it.
President Biden wants Vice President Harris to be the standard bearer of the party now. Does she still want to get rid of ICE?
You have seen what this administration has been able to do in the past 3.5 years, and they did that with the vice president as a partner in that. And Republicans got in the way. The president went around Republicans and was able to get thousands of personnel at the border, and now we are seeing a 50% drop at the border. And that's because of what this president has done.
President Biden wants...
I can't wait till she's gone. I'll lose a lot of content, but she's just terrible. And the main focus of that clip that I wanted to point out was she did connect the two, right? She connected Joe Biden and Kamala Harris as a team, and that they were both responsible for what took place at the border, but she's going to blame that responsibility on Republicans. Now, we all see through it, but at least we can have that clip now to show everybody that when Kamala Harris says, well, that was my predecessor, that was the president, you know, I was doing this or that, I was just in charge of delegation or whatever. No, you weren't. His own White House press secretary said so. She's the speaker for the president because he can't speak on behalf of himself because he just slurs, mumbles, doesn't know what the hell's going on. So later on in the briefing, it was stated that Republicans for Kamala Harris completed and total failure as a border czar. So it's weird that this theme keeps going on, that the border is a complete disaster and that it's Republicans' fault, even though when Joe Biden came into office, as we're all aware, that they had, meaning they, the Democrat Party, had all three branches of government. They could have done whatever they wanted to do, and they didn't do a single thing other than make the border worse. And then all of a sudden, when the border even got terrible, I know it's hard to say that it got even more worse than what it was, but it did. They sat there and blamed Republicans, but when it's better, they're not blaming the Democrat Party. They're actually taking credit for how the border has declined in illegal immigrations, which, by the way, Joe Biden lied last night during a speech where he said, oh, immigration's lower than it even was under Trump. No, it's not. The numbers are actually still double. It's like, I don't know who's feeding him this data, but it's still double. So here she is.
Committee yesterday approved a resolution that will go to a vote of the full House strongly condemning the Biden administration and its orders are the Vice President for failure to secure the border. Do you have a response to that? And how would the President characterize what he views as the Vice President's accomplishments in terms of overseeing that portfolio?
I mean, look, as we speak, you have congressional Republicans, they continue with their month-long blockade of critical resources that we need for the border. Whether it's ICE, Border Patrol, and this is what they've been doing. Let's not forget the bipartisan, a really tough, important bipartisan piece of legislation or a deal that came out of the Senate that we were able to get done, and they got in their own way. They got in their own way because they listened to the former president, because they thought it would help Joe Biden. So they continue to block critical resources. That's what they have done for the past 3.5 years. The president is looking for ways to fund security funding to get to the border, right? And he's done that in a record way. And so we're going to continue to fight to make sure that the Border Patrol agents get what they need and get more personnel, thousands of new personnel at the border. That's what we're going to do.
It is a remarkable thing that we've been hearing the same messaging for 3.5 years. And by the way, if Joe Biden were to actually be running, we would hear it for another 3.5 years. We would hear it for 8 years. Oh, we're going to get it done. We're going to work for the American people. It's going to happen. Even they said they need more time. We just need another 4 years to get it going. Okay. Yeah. Nobody wants to give you another 4 years. We might not have a country in another 4 years. Obviously, I'm being facetious. We will have a country. It'll just be more denigrated than what it was beforehand. So she confirms that Kamala Harris is a critical partner to the Biden's destruction of American society, folks. Here we go. Clip it.
They are partners. They have been. She's been, again, a critical partner in some of the big piece items that we have been able to get done on behalf of this country. Obviously, she's going to play a role as she has done in the past.
There you go. You heard it from the horse's mouth. She's a critical partner, you guys. Everything you saw under Joey is only going to be souped up under Kamala Harris. And by the way, I'm basing that off her track record, again, of how she destroyed my state, along with Gavin Newsom of the state of California. And that's why we started the hashtag on Twitter, Don't CA the USA, because that's what she's going to do. Folks, you can look at video clips of California, of Hollywood Boulevard, what it looked like before, and then what it looks like now. The great thing is we have video in comparison. We could see the two. The massive homeless crisis, the drug crisis that we're having here, people passed out for hours on the streets, defecating, masturbating in front of your children. You have to walk off a bus through an encampment of people doing drugs, prostitution, sex trafficking, all that stuff. Drugs in front of your children, drinking alcohol, just so your kid can get to school. I mean, that's only to name a few. You know, imagine what's going to happen here. You're in the highest tax state. We have the worst roads. Can't buy a piece of property. Again, it's a great study to look at what she did to California to get a good, just a taste. I'm talking a teaser, guys. I'm not even talking like it's an appetizer for an 8-course meal. I'm talking like this is the bread before the appetizer of what you're going to see if this woman is president of the United States. And I don't care if it's a woman, right? I want to be clear on that. I don't care if the president is a woman. That has nothing to do with it. I care about this and are they able to do the job? Karine Jean-Pierre denies Biden felt bullied after the coup to force him out of the presidential race. He looked like a guy that was bullied yesterday, just really down in the dumps.
Can you talk a little more about how he's feeling after making such an extraordinary decision, like you said, making it quickly? Yeah. Did he feel bullied to leave the race?
I'm going to let the president speak for himself. Look, obviously it's a historic moment.
Aren't you supposed to? I'm going to let the president speak for himself? But that's your job. Folks, but that's her job. Weird. And the other problem I have with this, Karine, is He doesn't speak for himself. Nobody talks to him. He almost went an entire week of nobody seeing or hearing from him. I can almost count on two hands the amount of press briefing he's done that's kind of similar to what you're doing. He's never, you guys, I don't even know if you'll ever see this again. I know I say that all the time, but it's there's a lot of things we haven't seen before with this president. He's never stood on that podium. You're never going to see a president in the entire 4 years stand on the podium and answer the press's questions.
But a decision like this is very personal. It's not easy to make. And I think there are very rare politicians who could look at the situation and make a decision.
What? Hold on, guys. What situation is there to look at? Was it the polling numbers? That was it? You're dropping out because of polling numbers? You just got done saying everything's Republicans' fault. You have never, and I mean this in all sincerity, there has never, if you find it, let me know. There has never been a single time in which she's blamed the Democrat Party, Joe Biden, for anything. They've never taken responsibility for a single thing, other than when things are good, right? When gas prices start going down, all of a sudden they want to take responsibility. But when they go back up, it's Putin's fault. It's Xi's fault. It's somebody else's fault. Folks, things were great. We all read his letter. Everything was fine. The economy was up. It's resilient. You never seen anything like it before. And then, all of a sudden I'm dropping out. Weird. Really weird. It's a tough decision. Why is it tough? Why? So then she goes on, says, Biden exiting the race has nothing to do with his health. I don't know about that.
You read the president's statement where he said that it's in the country's best interest for him to step aside. Why is it in the country's best interest for him to step aside? Does it have to do with his health? Or
it does not have to do, they have nothing to do with his health.
You read the president's statement where he...
Okay, we all know Joey's on his last leg. You also have a reporter here said, how can you assure the American people that he's up to serve the next 6 months if he's dropping out of the race? And she goes, I swear he can. Believe me. Believe me. Here she is.
The president believes that it's best for the country that he not be in the Oval Office for another 4 years. How can you assure the American people that he's up to be in the office for the next 6 months?
Well, first I would say is that, and I've heard these suggestions out there. This is not an answer to you. This is an answer to the suggestions that I've had. I've heard about him resigning from office. We believe, and any suggestion of that note is ridiculous. It is not what we believe. The president, I just laid out what the president has been able to do in almost 4 years, and it's been successful. He's been able to do more, again, than any president has been able to do in 2 terms. He's been able to do that more in 1 term.
Then why is he dropping out? If everything was so, again, I'm going to keep asking the same question. If everything was so great and dandy, why is he dropping out, Karine? If everything is just awesome, it's just peachy, why is he dropping out? That's, again, everyone's question. So these people that are going to end up voting for Kamala, like, what do they look like? You know what I mean? We always hear this, on the news, like, oh, look at her poll numbers are up. Like, there's people roaming this earth that somehow love Kamala. And I wanted to go and kind of seek this out. Like, who are these people? You know what I mean? Like, who are these NPCs? Who are these zombies that are roaming this earth that are going to vote for Kamala? Well, folks, I think I might have found a great example here of Fox News talking to a Kamala Harris supporter. Here we go.
I will, John, but are you saying you would support Hamas?
Are you saying you support genocide? What does Hamas have to do with 20,000 babies and children massacred and butchered? Women and families, 400 universities flattened, schools flattened, hospitals flattened, thousands of hospital workers murdered. Do you think that has anything to do with Hamas or humanity? It's human rights. We for human rights, not Hamas.
What about the hostages? What do you say about the hostages that have been held in captivity?
On October 7th, most of those people were killed by Israeli forces using the Hannibal Directive. Hello, wake up!
All right, so that's obviously not...
Folks, that is what the Democrat Party looks like. Those are the people that are going to be voting for Kamala Harris. This is not a good... You can't... Look, even if they're not registered Democrats, they're sure in hell not independents. They're sure in hell not Republicans and conservatives. I'll tell you that much. They're on the left side of the aisle. Okay. We call them leftists here. Now, very well could be a registered Democrat, but if they're a registered Republican or conservative, sorry, that ain't the values, lady, and you got to leave the party really quickly. So that's what those voters look like. They're NPCs, folks. Like I said, if you could sit there and if you know anybody that needs a brain, go ahead and send this to them. It might help them out a little bit. Again, for more information, visit tryabrain.com. Tryabrain.com. I'll go as far to say that they are a superficial sponsor of the Bald Brad Show, meaning they're not a real brand. Okay, but might as well be, because people like this need a brain, and people are brainwashed all the time, man. Like have a thought in your head, question things a little bit. Like, you need to wake up. All the while she is there supporting Hamas, a terrorist organization. Hamas has nothing to do with it. You need to wake up and have a brain. Like, it really is weird, right? I love the people watch when I go out, and you get to kind of see the crazies, and it's just, it almost makes you wonder how they got there. Like, was it drugs? You know what I mean? It's weird, right? Did you guys ever just go out on the streets? I mean, what's great is here in California, since we just allow everybody to roam free, people that have some seriously clinical medical conditions are just roaming the streets in the most touristy of areas. If you go down to this street called Sunset, it's very close to Hollywood Boulevard. You will see some things you've never seen before. You will see homeless people fighting each other with luggage in the middle of the street of the most touristy of areas. What I mean by most touristy of areas, folks, this is the street that they closed down for the Oscars. This is the street that has all the footprints and the handprints of celebrities. This is where like everybody goes and thinks of when they come to Hollywood. You'll see homeless people shitting right in front. They'll pull their pants down, just take a dump right in front of your family. There'll be guys masturbating right there in front of you. And they're all Kamala Harris voters, folks. They're all Biden supporters. It's people like this, man. The hat crook. Like, see, I don't want anybody coming out. Somebody told me this. It was actually my mom. Said, Brad, you can't be calling these people retarded because it's not appropriate. And I go, I'm not calling them retarded by having my hat sideways. I'm just giving an example of like, they're not all there. I don't think they're retarded. I just don't think they're all there. They're like, oh, 4 more years. 4 more years. Folks, Pat, did we not call it? Was I not doing this a long time ago? And I think I just found the lady, the Democrat Party, that's example. So I think we're okay to do with this now, right? 4 more years! 4 more years! As you guys can see, I really am bald. At least you know I'm not. At least you know it's real. We are the Bald Brad Show. This is just part of the aesthetics. It's part of the brand. Brad, homeless people crap in my neighborhood and shower naked in our apartment pool area. That's disgusting, Dizzy. Jesus. Sorry, brother. So this leads us into where that lady, that NPC, that Kamala Harris supporter was at. And this is where these people showed up. And by people, I mean protesters chanting Allah Akbar and burning the American flag outside Netanyahu's speech yesterday. So what they had to do was block the streets and everything. And we'll get to the video clips here. But protesters outside replaced American flags with Palestinian flags on poles outside the building. So that's what they want to do to your country, by the way. You know that old cliche of you plant the flag into the ground to represent you're conquering it? That symbolism is what's taking place here. These people do not want to abide by your values. Please understand this. That's why I always talk about social fabric. I always talk about ideology. These people don't have the same ideology as you. And I mean that across the board as far as all Americans. They don't want to sit there and have the Declaration of Independence and the United States Constitution. They want to tear it up and burn it to the ground. They want to burn this country to the ground. They want to sit there and enact certain things of extreme faith, whatever that's from, into this country. Folks, they're burning down the flag. They're putting up their own flag. What else could that possibly mean? This is going to happen. It's only going to be exacerbated under Kamala Harris. So here they are, as pissed as you're going to be. They have every right to do it. Freedom of speech. I don't like it one bit, obviously. I got to make sure I don't blow out your eardrums. But here they are, tearing down the flag. So don't think that somebody brought this flag, okay? They tore this thing down on government grounds. They all have Palestinian flags. They're wearing the Hamas scarf thingy. Here they are. You know, just get a good look at that. Get a good look, you guys. That is the Democrat Party. Remember, we're a threat to democracy according to Democrats. We're a threat to the Republic. I don't see conservatives or Republicans burning the flag. Matter of fact, there was Republicans and conservatives that went into that crowd later on and actually salvaged the pieces of that flag to just keep it alive. There's one party here that is a threat to democracy. That's why we have the title of the show. Democracy's at stake, quite literally. That's why I named it the way I named it. You are seeing an outgrowth of the Democrat Party, meaning the left, that don't believe in freedom of speech. They don't believe in the United States Constitution. They don't believe in any of that. And people go, well, that's extreme, Brad. That's not correct. No, it is correct. The left will destroy this country. I always talk about it. And again, I'm not doing this as a shameless plug. At this point, buy it or don't buy it, right? It's there for whoever wants it, okay? It has a good discount on Amazon. Buy it or not. I'm just bringing it up because I wrote an entire book on it. I spent time sitting there going through research, at some point going back to hell, even before ancient Egypt, on how the left is going to use their ideology to destroy this country. And the Democrat Party is allowing it to happen. At some point, right now, we got to rise up during the election and go out and vote for Donald Trump, you guys. We can't keep allowing this to go on, man. You're not going to have your rights anymore, I'm telling you. They're chiseling away at it. So here's more of what the protests look like. But remember, you know, January 6th got all these mainstream headlines. You guys, to find this footage, I had to go to independent sources like Timcast and other independent outlets to get this footage. Because they're not going to show this on CNN and MSNBC, right? They're not going to have it on a whole week's notice for years showing these clips. So here's these Democrats, progressive leftists, we'll call them leftists, going after police. Make sure I don't blow your eardrums out. Look at all of them with the Hamas stuff and Palestinian stuff. Watch how they treat these cops, you guys. This is them tearing down the flag. Like I said, they didn't bring it, they tore it down. So they're throwing stuff at the police, right? What you'll see in a moment. Oh, we got more. What you'll see in a moment is they are they're actually grabbing onto the police officers and like throwing them around. I want to see if we can get to that clip here. I want to make sure this is the right one for all of you. So here's a different angle of what took place. It's kind of more of a continuation to what you just saw. Again, these are all Democrat voters, you guys. None of these people are voting for Trump. Just remember this. So I got a lot of clips of this, guys. Oh, we're gonna show it all. We're gonna show it all. Here's another one. Look at all these heroes, you guys. These Palestinian Hamas supporters.
Let us fucking go! I know me! Back up!
It's amazing how many of these people are putting their hands on these police officers. If that was me, you're taking a freaking baton right to the face, right to the jaw, man, knocking out the teeth. It's amazing how many of them are being grabbed, pushed, and they're just taking it. Remember, Kamala Harris wants to defund the police, you guys. You heard it from her mouth just the other day. We showed the clip. He steps on it. Scumbag, man. But none of these people will be called racist for hitting black police officers, assaulting black police officers. None of them will be called this, you guys. These are heroes to the left. These people are heroes. You notice that there's just a constant theme of a transition between these different types of groups, whether it's of the left-hand side of the aisle, meaning the Democrat Party. They're an outgrowth of that party. There's a constant theme here of Ku Klux Klan, anti-civil rights groups, people like Antifa, Black Lives Matter. Now you have these pro-Palestinian protesters that are for Hamas, a terrorist organization. You guys see a constant theme here? It's not going to go away because it's being tolerated. It's 100% being tolerated. As I mentioned, they're going after police officers. They're assaulting them. They're pulling them off people while they're trying to arrest. They were dragging them, and I don't know if I'm allowed to show it. They were dragging them across across the pavement. If we show any sort of violence here on the show, we get flagged by YouTube. Thank God we're over at Rumble. If you haven't already, head over to Rumble. Follow us over there. We're trying to hit 1,000 followers on Rumble. That is our goal, so we can be quote unquote verified. But if you're enjoying the show either way, hit up that thumbs up button. It really does support us. It helps us greatly. Would appreciate that help. So what happened later on was now that the flag was burned, right? They tore it down. They put up the Palestinian flag, which shows that they're trying to conquer the United States. It shows their agenda at the end of the day. Look, you putting up the Palestinian flag has nothing to do with what's going on over there. It has everything to do with them symbolizing what they want to do to your country. It has everything to symbolize what will happen to this country if Kamala Harris is elected president of the United States, because she's going to allow that type of stuff to happen. So several House Republicans, including Speaker Mike Johnson, have just replaced American flags with what was ripped down by the pro-Palestinians. So here it is. It's weird that you notice that it just says several House Republicans. Do you notice it doesn't say anything about Democrats, you guys? I just want to be clear on this. You notice it doesn't say anything about Democrats out there putting up the American flag. That is a key point, because there's a constant theme here with that party.
Nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Woo! Yeah! Woo-hoo! Yeah!
Constant theme. Yeah, it's not tolerant. It's a yeah. To encourage. Yeah. The left love this stuff. If I saw again, I know I keep repeating myself, but where are the Republicans burning down the flags? Where's Republicans burning down our cities? You guys, they only have one thing to show, and that was these nut jobs, conservative Republicans, and we don't even have all the information out about it, of January 6th. That's the only thing they have on us, which, again, it kind of makes sense why they just sit there and point to January 6th, but nothing else, is because that's what they do all the time. Like, if you look at it, they will sit there and still go vote for Joey because they found one pro, according to him. What I mean by that is, like, they sat there and decreased the cost of some prescription drugs for seniors. And because he did that one thing, they're going to go vote for him, but they're going to completely ignore the 1,000 other things that Joe Biden has done terrible or terribly to this country. They'll just ignore that entire side. In the same way here, you have Black Lives Matter running roughshod over our cities, doing billions of dollars of damages to businesses and private property owners. You have Antifa assaulting journalists, conservatives, Republicans out there going into restaurants, on the streets, assaulting people, especially others like Andy No, who wrote a book called Unmasked. You have them burning down our cities. You have the Democrat Party, predominantly these areas that are ran by Democrats, doing these smash and grabs, the crimes, the looting, the drugs, all those things, allowing a massive invasion. They're going to ignore all of those things that their party does, but they're going to point directly towards just our January 6th, which isn't even our January 6th. It's not a Republican and conservative thing to even do. So this is what they want to do to your country, you guys. And it will happen if Kamala Harris is president of the United States. The reason why I see that is she's the furthest, we'll get to it, she's the furthest left person in the entire Senate. That's not my words. Okay, that's not my opinion. I will show you the proof in just a little bit here. We got more news to cover, folks. If you're enjoying this, hit that like button and follow us over at Rumble and Twitter. You guys, I am extremely active on Twitter. So if you want to get more of like updates of what I'm seeing as part of the news and I think is worthy for your viewing, head over to Twitter and follow me over there. So he blasts these woke pro-Hamas protesters that were outside burning the American flag. And by the way, burning puppets that had his face on it. So he was there Wednesday and slammed these woke pro-Hamas protesters that have caused mayhem on college campuses across the U.S., saying that those who carry gays for Gaza might as well be holding up signs that say chickens for KFC. That's a good analogy. Like I said, these people that are out there, right? They're not going to go to Palestine or the Gaza Strip. They're not going to go there. It's a remarkable thing, is it? It just shows you why I call these people NPCs. There's no thought in their head. They just go out there and chant stuff because they think it's cool. They think it's hip, right? They think it's the right thing to do in their mind. Look, they have every right to go out and chant and do all those things. They don't have a right to be violent, but they have every right to do this freedom of speech, and I will support their freedom of speech to do those things. I don't like it. I'm not a supporter of it, but they have a right to go out and chant and protest, not be violent. But the problem is that they're not going to stand up for our rights, you guys. Again, they don't believe in our founding values whatsoever. We recently learned from the U.S. Director of National Intelligence that Iran is funding and promoting anti-Israel protests in America. They want to disrupt America, correct? He said that those participating in the pro-Hamas protests were Iran's useful idiots since they were accepting money from a terrorist regime that hangs gays from cranes and murders women for not covering their hair. But when you ask these protesters that, they don't know what the hell you're talking about. They don't even know that Hamas kills gays. They don't know that this stuff takes place in Gaza. They don't know any of this stuff. They think they're heroes out there because they're chanting Intifada, right? They're killing people. Of course they're killing people. It's a war. And it's ugly. War is ugly. That's why we don't want to do wars. That's why Trump wants to stop wars, because terrible things happen. Children die. Civilians die. Welcome to war. But because of the denigration by the left in our education system, you can't talk about what war really is like in the classroom because it's too violent. It's too hideous. They don't show war footage. They don't show people getting their head cut off in the classroom. They don't show people being burned alive by napalm in Vietnam. They don't show people having their teeth ripped out because it had gold in it so they could sell it off in their home country. They don't talk about these things because it's too violent for these people. They don't show the atrocities of war. They don't show the people storming the beaches of Normandy and getting their fucking arms blown off and looking for it in the crowd. They don't sit there and do any of these things. They sit there and they tone down what war looks like. You want to know where people get most of their war knowledge from? Video games. That's where they get it from, where they could sit there and just shoot endlessly into the skies when they don't have to worry about how much ammo they have. They don't have to worry about starvation. They don't have to worry about eating the fucking bark off the trees to stay alive. They don't have to worry about the stories of people eating soil just to keep going for a little bit longer. They don't look at any of these things. They see the Hollywood movies where a guy gets shot in the chest and he gets blown back 40 feet from a bullet. These are the people that watch these Hollywood films that have no recoil on these firearms. This is where they get all their information from. They don't teach any of this stuff in schools, folks. Understand that. I understand the violence of it, but sometimes you need to see the atrocities so you get a full picture of what war looks like and why don't want to go to war. Like, I don't want to go to war. I'm still young enough to go. Sorry, I don't want to do it. If I have to, I will, but I don't want to. So these people act like they're heroes out here. And he is right in saying this, that some of these protesters, it's amazing, absolutely amazing, some of these protesters hold up signs claiming gays for Gaza. He said they might as well hold up signs, chickens for KFC, correct? These protesters chant from the river to the sea, but many don't have a clue what river and what sea they're talking about. We've seen interviews of these people being questioned. They don't have a clue, a thought in their head. They only get an F in geography. They get an F in history. That is correct. But you know what? You won't see that on the report card because everybody gets passed through the system, doesn't know a damn thing. They call Israel a colonial state. Don't they know that the land of Israel is where Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob prayed? Where Isaiah and Jeremiah preached, and where David and Solomon ruled? For nearly 4,000 years, the land of Israel has been homeland of the Jewish people. It's always been our home, he added. It's always been our home. But again, the history, it's not important to these people. They can care less. Nick. Nick, I got your message. Yeah. So you have here VP Harris now that we're enough with my rants and regarding these people that are going to basically destroy your country, our country. And again, I do believe that, by the way. I know I'm going to plug it one more time. I believe it so much so I wrote a book on it, okay? So it's not that's one of the like rare times I actually give my opinion. These people are going to destroy this country. It might not happen in our lifetime, but boy, oh boy, you give them enough time of being reelected in the office, they'll do it. And Kamala Harris is going to sit there and exacerbate the issues that Joe Biden already started. So she's here and she ditched the event, okay? So one of her duties generally is to be there. And she sat there and ditched Netanyahu's address, and sorry for butchering his name if I am, to go to a sorority leadership event. So you have an ally of the United States, and I hate when people go, well, they're not actually like a technical ally of the United States because of NATO and how kind of the alliances work and how the paperwork's filed. They're an ally to the United States. Stop it with the stupid technical stuff. That's why you guys aren't going to see me do debates with people, because you can't have like a normal conversation. You know, like when you're out there with the boys having a cigar and whiskey, you don't talk like that, right? Well, technically on the paperwork in Article 5, Section 2 of this NATO alliance, it doesn't say Israel, so you can't call them allies. Like, shut up. Just talk like a normal human being. You know what I mean? Oh, well, technically this and that. It's like, look, they're an ally. Okay, I understand there's technicals and all those things. At the end of the day, in a holistic view, they're one of our allies. We support them. They support us. If anything were to happen, we can use their territory to fly jets out of and launch bombs and all those other things. They're an ally. Okay, it is what it is. They don't want to admit it, whatever. So Vice President Kamala Harris ditched his message to Congress in order to speak to Zeta Phi Beta. Zeta Phi Beta in sorority's grand arena, I guess, in Indiana, an event that AIDS said she previously planned to attend. I think sitting there and showing support as the vice president to Israel, like vice president of the United States, but be there for Israel, is probably more important than going speaking to a freaking sorority. But it shows you where her priorities lie, you guys. She likes this stuff. She likes the chaos. How do I know? Look what she's done to California. That's why I said hashtag don't CA the USA. They're smash and grabs. There's crime. There's the same stuff happening. These protesters took over UCLA, USC on her state. Like, of course I know this is going to happen to the country. They've already done it. They've already and have been doing it for quite some time. Our state didn't crumble in a day. It took time, and the Democrats did it. The Democrats are the ones that did it. So here are them. Here's the people again that are polling at police officers and are going to vote for Kamala Harris. I just want to show you again the way they treated our Capitol Police and the local police department. Look at that. Hold on. Yep.
Back up! We're back, you fucking idiot! We're back! Shut the fuck up! Get the fuck off him! Get the fuck off him!
You know, one thing that's weird here is they're clearly assaulting police officers, which is wild and insane. But I mean, it's typical, right? It is the left. This is what Antifa does. This is what people that want to sit there and take over your country are doing and implement their own laws and regulations and things like that. They don't believe in any of the stuff you believe in, folks. They claim they will, but it's all facade. It's all fake. It's like Antifa, right? Antifa are fascists masquerading as anti-fascists. We talk about it in the book. In the book, I will actually walk you through where socialism came from, where fascism came from, how it was developed, and how Antifa masquerades as anti-fascist, even though their tactics symbolize those of the brown shirts rather, in history, and how that evolved into their tactics today and what they utilize. So what's wild here too is I don't understand, like, at what point are we just going to get the like paintball guns with the pepper spray pellets inside of them and just start reaming people in the face? You know what I mean? Or getting the rubber bullets. You know, have some guys that are clearly armed with actual bullets in case somebody pulls a gun, because who knows what's stopping any of these people from just shanking a guy in the neck? We know that some of these protesters in the past have done some heinous crimes across the globe. There's terrorists here right now. You don't know if any of these people are actual terrorists. Why? Because Joe Biden allows everybody to come in illegally. Nobody knows who any of these people are, and they're just willy-nilly just assaulting police officers left and right. You won't see this on the news, though, you guys. You're not going to see this pasted for the next few years on the news by anybody other than independents and Republicans and conservatives. Why? Because it goes against the Democrats' narrative. The media right now, as we called it, are going to go after and support. They're going to go after Donald Trump in support of Kamala Harris. They're going to sit there and suckle at the teat of Kamala Harris. They're going to lick the gunk between her toes, massage her shoulders, just like they did to Joe Biden. They passed Joe Biden and went on to the next patient, and that's Karine Jean-Pierre, because she's moldable. Her resistance to the American values is on par with what you're seeing from these people. All those people in that crowd are going to vote for Kamala Harris. There's probably not a single one that's actually going to vote for Donald Trump. And if they do, it'd be a little bit odd. So how do they treat our history? They already tore down our flag, right? And put up their own flag. How do they treat our history? How are they going to treat the country? This is an example right here. This is how they're going to treat your country. This is how they're going to treat history. So if you didn't see there, let's read some of this stuff. F Israel, Gaza, Free Palestine. It says F capitalism, Intifada, revolution, no justice, child killers, Palestine, long live Intifada. Just lovely, isn't it? This is great. It is abolish the U.S. right there at the bottom. These aren't my words, you guys. Please understand, when I say they want to sit there and destroy the country, it's not like I'm giving you my opinion. This is their words. They asked for these things on the college campuses. None of what you're seeing here on this Liberty Bell is anything new, by the way. They were chanting for genocide of the Jews. They were chanting for the abolishment of the United States. Yeah, no, these people are not for this country, you guys. They don't want to assimilate here whatsoever. If this doesn't hype you up enough already to what you already were to get out and vote this November, we got to. We got to unite here, because this can't keep going on, man. Again, we'll have a country, but boy, oh boy, it's going to be chiseled away more and more. So you have this clip here where CBS News says you're considered the most liberal United States senator And Kamala Harris says, somebody said that it's actually Mike Pence on the debate stage, and she gets called out in real time. Here we go.
You're very different in the policies that you've supported in the past. You're considered the most liberal United States senator.
Somebody said that, and it actually was Mike Pence on the debate stage. But
yeah, well, actually, the nonpartisan GovTrack has rated you as the most liberal senator. You supported the Green New Deal. You supported Medicare for all. You're very different.
She's an idiot. I mean, really, you guys. So, what else has been going on? Again, we'll get to that posting in just one moment. What else has been going on? Well, you have Harris and Biden met in person only 6 times this summer, you guys. But they're a team, but they only meet 6 times. Huh. So on the White House South Lawn, Vice President Kamala Harris praised the man she is likely to replace atop the Democratic ticket, telling an assembly of student athletes that I am firsthand witness that every day our president, Joe Biden, fights for the American people. But Harris hasn't seen Biden in a week, and they haven't even seen each other pretty much all summer. Their working relationship and subsequent friendship has always been complicated by hectic schedules and international travel, including Biden's trip to France just last month, making it difficult for the president and vice president to sit down in one place together for a very long time. It's a White House. The dude lives there. The pair have met face-to-face just 6 times since the beginning of June. Not my words. Again, this is Real Clear Politics. And by the way, if you want to know who wrote this article, it's our boy Philip Wegman, who we love here on the show. Phil has caught the show. Phil knows about the show. Phil's one of the people I talk to in the White House correspondence. We love Phil here. He does a fabulous job. The cameras caught Biden on tape looking lost. The president stood there listening to music and he didn't dance. Excuse me, I didn't know dancing was a health issue. Or not dancing, rather. Jesus. This is where we're heading. This is where we're heading. So, as I mentioned, I always keep you up to date on illegal immigration, but let's attach to Kamala Harris here, where she said it is wrong to somehow suggest that undocumented immigrants is a crime. Being an undocumented immigrant is a crime. She doesn't think so. Folks, this person's a lawyer, the prosecutor.
it is wrong to somehow suggest that an undocumented immigrant is a criminal. I've personally prosecuted everything from low-level offenses to homicides. I know what a crime looks like. An undocumented immigrant is not a criminal. It is...
Folks, she is further left than Joe Biden. Okay? The media don't want you to know this. The media don't want all the bad things coming out about Kamala Harris. So what do? They retract old statements. They start deleting things from the internet. I'm not making this up. This is some Orwellian stuff. And we talked about it a little bit during yesterday's live when we were looking at Joe Biden's White House, I almost said press briefing, White House speech from the Oval Office. So we have some clips here where the media fixes in. Axios deletes calling Harris the border czar. Okay. So here's some text for their analysis. But where's the border czar one? Right here. Editors note this article has been updated and clarified to note that Axios was among the news outlets that incorrectly labeled Harris as a border czar back in 2021. Like, all the news outlets are removing it, you guys. All of a sudden, it's not real. All of a sudden, it's fake. And we can't call her DEI hire, even though Joe Biden himself says he's considering 4 black women to be his running mate. I mean, that is quite literally the definition of DEI hire. That you're hiring based on race. You're not hiring based on qualification. You're not basing it on their history. You're solely basing it on the fact that they are a specific type of race. It goes a step further. GovTrack deletes what you heard from the video clip, calling Harris the most liberal senator. So they deleted this, you guys. You won't find this anymore. They're straight up going out and removing information about a presidential candidate so that your viewpoint doesn't get manipulated about her, or at least you're brought to some sort of factual base about her. Either way you want to look at it. Folks, no, I told you they were going to do shit like this. You know what I mean? I'm not trying to be a know-it-all. Please understand that. I'm not trying to belittle you. I'm not trying to treat you like you're dumb. You're not. We said this was going to happen as a community, did we not? We said everything they did in 2016 and 2020, they're going to do all over again. They sat there and covered up the Hunter Biden laptop that would have swung 17% of the vote away from Joe Biden. They are sitting there covering up this lady's history. They're sitting there covering up everything about Kamala Harris already. Folks, we're only 100 days out. Can you imagine how this is going to ramp up? Can you imagine the spin and how the media is going to be in a frenzy to sit there and support this lady? It's going to be the most wild. This is going to be the most wild election of your lifetime and of my lifetime. I don't think I'm exaggerating that one bit. They're covering up her record. She was ranked the most liberal compared to all senators. There's not a person out there in terms of the Senate and Congress that was more liberal than this lady. She's going to drive this country into the ground. If you thought Joe Biden was bad, man, wait till this lady gets in. And you know how we know that? Let's do this. Hell, let's look at Delaware compared to California. Look at Delaware compared to California. That tells you everything you need to know in terms of how this lady's going to run the country compared to Joe Biden. Don't California the USA, please God. We will get our asses kicked by everybody. China, Iran, India, Russia. They're going to destroy the military with DEI. You already see them trying to implement these initiatives in. They're going to sit there and destroy the economy because they want a more socialized network in terms of how things function. You just saw these idiots at the Capitol or near our buildings going after the Liberty Bell, writing intifada and F capitalism, all the while everything they're wearing is literally from a capitalistic society. These people's heads aren't on straight, folks. I'm telling you, and they're going to go out and they're going to vote for her in big numbers, and they're going to sit there and start chauffeuring out voting ballots for all these illegals, and somebody's going to vote on the illegals' behalf. Man, I don't know how it's going to be done. I mean that in all sincerity, you guys. I don't know if it's possible for Trump to win. I'm going to go out and vote, and I think everybody needs to go out and vote. But, dude, you're up against a beast of a beast, man. I don't know how. It's frustrating to me to hear some of these Republicans and conservatives. Again, I'm a conservative, but I'm a registered Republican. Just thinking like, oh, Donald Trump's a shoe-in. Oh, he's beating her in the polls. Oh, it's gonna be a landslide. Who are these people that think that way? Like, to sit there and like completely forget what happened in 2020 with everything they did. Oh, everyone goes to sleep, huge spike. Joe Biden somehow winning. Oh, there was a water pipe burst. God, sorry, gotta shut it down. Can't see in here. Blocking the windows for accounts. Doesn't want to actually do an investigation and a forensic analysis of what's actually going on here. They just do a recount, which is just counting the same errors you did before. They're going to do it all again, folks. They're going to do it all again. And Trump before had an edge because Biden was so far gone and everybody knew it. But you're going up against the deep state, these bureaucrats, these managerial elites. You're going up against billionaires. You're going up against the Democratic Party that doesn't play by the same rules whatsoever. We know that already. I mean, that's a God-given thing. I mean, everybody saw it. We just got to talking about it, 2020. If you think they're not going to pull some foolery, look, I'm not even saying that cheating is going to sit there and swing the election. That is not what I'm saying, but it's going to be prevalent. It's going to happen. It already did. Nothing's changed. They're not even cleaning up their voter registration rolls, you guys. There's lawsuits out there. They're not doing a damn thing. Nevada, Michigan, Pennsylvania, these places are not cleaning up their voter registration rolls. And by the way, some of those states were swing states. All of it's going to happen again. So we're in an uphill battle here, basically against our own freaking government in a nutshell. Troy, thank you so much for the $5, man. You're keeping the lights on here. True American Patriot. I'm going to make sure I heart that one. All our conspiracy theories are coming true. Love the content, Brad. Keep it up. Thank you, brother. I'm glad you're here with us. I think sometimes a Troy's a girl. I think Troy, I can't tell. Sorry. Let me know, Troy. Troy, are you a female or a male? Let me know. I can't see. My chat is really small. That's why I got to lean in. I see a picture, but it is possible for Troy to be American female. Paul Wells, correct me if I'm wrong, but Trump was a shoo-in in 2020. Yeah, he was not leading in the polls necessarily, but based on everything that was going on around, you would look at it and go, I think this guy's going to win. I remember telling my mother, um, when I was still living with her, that there used to be these caravans in 2016 and even 2020 that would come through our housing track. I mean, full Trump train, right? I live near the beach, and so they would have these boat parades down there. I mean, miles long crowds just waiting for Trump to show up down in Newport. And I remember telling her, I go, Mom, I've never seen this for a president ever. Like, not even in the history books have I seen people coming out and doing like full trains of cars with flags and chanting and playing American patriotic music ever. And I'm in California, which should tell you something. And so if I'm seeing it in California, it has to be happening other places around the United States. I have never seen something like this for Clinton. I didn't see it for Obama. I saw people wearing Obama shirts, but I didn't see people parading around the streets in the same manner. Haven't seen it for Kamala Harris. Won't see it for Kamala Harris. Didn't see it for Joe Biden. But somehow they just got rid of the most popular president in American history. I still can't believe it. I still can't believe it. Troy says, I'm a male. All right, Troy, good. All right. Well, I mean, it goes, people, it's like what's like a girl's name that sometimes is a male name? Like Alex, for example. So I want to make sure I get you right, brother. Thank you so much for supporting this, though, man. I wasn't trying to be rude, I promise. Wanted to make sure I'm treating you with the utmost respect. The truth about Mandela effect, yeah. He's a man's man, yep. I want to make sure I get to some of these chats. 1776, I really can't say what I truly believe, even on this channel. I might have someone at my door. They're watching us. We know that. They're watching us big time, you guys. Like, I really do believe that, by the way, like the way they're treating our channel. Like I said, folks, we have more people watching on Rumble than we do on Twitter, on YouTube. Secret Agent, thanks to you, I went to Brad's website to donate. I hate how Google, YouTube takes a significant cut of what to know. Yeah, again, Karen, thank you so much for that donation. Karen went to our website. If you go to baldbrad.com, I think the website, because we use Squarespace, only takes like 2% or something like that, where YouTube takes 30. If you go to the website up here, if you want to, please don't feel like you guys have to, okay? Times are tough. There's a donate tab up here at the top, and if you click that, it will take you to this part. If you just click donate, it will take you directly to this. And what I'm going to try to do over the weekend is do a different portal that will allow you to do reoccurring donations. So if you guys want to do that over there, you can, where it'll just be reoccurring $5, $10, whatever you guys want to do, whatever you feel comfortable with. But don't feel like you have to. It's just there for those that want to, okay? I don't want you guys to feel like it's demanding or anything. You being here, the community is what's important. That's why on the memberships, I only made it 99 cents because I want people to feel involved. You know what I mean? It's cool to have a badge in the chat. It's cool to sit there and show everybody, hey, I support a cause. I support with my wallet conservative values and Republican and conservative ideology. And so that's why I made it 99 cents. I want people to feel like they could be a part of the community. Everybody's situation's different. Some people are struggling. Some people have health issues. Some people have medical bills or mortgage, like all that stuff. So rather than making, a lot of conservative independent guys that have YouTube stuff make it like $5, I just want people to feel involved. And so I figured 99 cents, I think everybody can get behind that here or there if they would like, or I guess $12 a year or something like that. But you deserve it, Brad. You work so hard. Oh, thank you, Lily B. I appreciate it. No, you guys, look, it's your hard-earned money. Me sitting here in front of a camera, yeah, of course it takes work and time. And, I have my normal job, right? I teach. I also do referee. And then we do this as well. But I'm not trying to say, oh, woe me. But you guys, it's your hard-earned money. Like, you guys work hard for that. And it's something that I don't ever want to lose that feeling of thankfulness for, because you see some of these people start making money and a living off YouTube, which I'm not even close to doing that, by the way. And I don't ever want to lose that feeling of your generosity and how thankful I am. So that's why it's important to me always meditate that you guys work hard for this. Everybody's situation is different, and you guys are willing to contribute to this community, which is amazing to me. You're welcome, Brad. This is how amazing the community is. Yes, and I hope we can keep it as an amazing community. Dizzy says, I'm retired. Well, damn it, Dizzy. I want to be retired too, and I'm only 35. Dizzy's over here retired. Dizzy's a big contributor. I appreciate you, Dizzy. Thank you, brother. I'm actually Dizzy was losing his ish the other day. Let me tell you. Star Child, whoever donated to me to make my name green, thank you. I think it was Lily B Star. She's the one that handed out, at least last time, a bunch of gifted memberships. I think it was Lily. Sam, here in Arizona, we still see those caravans. The pizza shop. My small town is MAGA as F. I love that. Big mural says Trump 2024 on the shipping containers. That's where you want to buy pizza from, Sam. That's where you go in and until the election, you start making pizza a weekly thing. You know what I'm saying? I wish there was a patriotic pizza place here. I just bought 2 acres of land in Cottonwood, Arizona last week. Damn, Star. Congrats to you. All you guys. We're never going to be retired, Brad. I'm the same age as you. Yeah, Jeff's 35 as well. Well, Jeff, you are an accountant, probably making some pretty decent money. I think you said you're a senior accountant, I think. So I already have a ballpark of how much you make in my mind. But based on Social Security, I mean, it's theft. I would rather not pay into Social Security and have control over my own retirement than sitting there and relying on the government to basically take 30% of whatever money I'm putting in and never giving it back to me, right? Because that's where it's going. It's going to go insolvent in our lifetime, Jeff, for sure. And I'm not saying the treasury part of it's not going to still be there. There'll still be money, but they're going to have stolen 30% of it, and we're not going to get the full effect. Dizzy with the 1999. Dizzy's retired. Dizzy, what are you doing? You're on retirement, brother. You can't be doing this. 1999. Love you all. God bless America and her people. Amen to that, brother. Amen. Pray for this country, man. Damn, there's a talking point. Pray for this freaking country. And we live in scary times, man. Brad, if you ever come up to Apple Valley, I'll buy you a beer, man. Hell yeah, Star. Thank you. I'll actually hold you to that. I'll hold you to that. You're welcome, Brad. Yeah, the community. It's all about the community, man. That was one of the many things and reasons why we started this channel was the community. We needed a place of conservative patriots that can call home. We know what the hell's going on over here at ScrewTube. Yeah. God, if you guys only knew what I see behind the scenes here, this freaking platform. It literally does not make sense that we get the same amount of people watching at Rumble that we do on YouTube. What percent? Can we just do a quick calculation here? So my Rumble followers compared to my YouTube is only 1.2%. A little bit, give or take. So that doesn't make sense, but they're going to tell you guys they actually said that, right? We covered it. They said it was your fault because you don't have the bell notification icon turned on. That's why we're limiting views here on YouTube. Yeah, bullshit. Hey, Ratify on Facebook. I'm John Weaver, like Rumble. Oh, okay. Thanks, John. I don't do Facebook. There's certain platforms that I don't want to invest my time into because they just go after conservatives and Republicans, specifically like TikTok, right? I have a TikTok, but I stopped using it because they were just sitting there banning Republicans and conservatives left and right with like no care in the world. And then Facebook's suppressing conservatives and Republicans like the Daily Wire, the Dan Bongino Show, and ABL. So that's why there's certain places where I just don't think it's worth the investment of my time because of the way they're treating us and going after us. That's why you guys don't see me investing too much time anymore on actual YouTube. And what I mean by that is I post everything through Rumble first, and Rumble then outsources it basically to YouTube. And so we're giving Rumble basically all our stuff. And that's why we're doing ad reads and everything through Rumble. And you know what? We might as well do an ad read right now. I don't even think we've done one this entire show. And so we might as well do that. Let me go to it right now. Let's see if we can give support to our boys over at Rumble. If you didn't know, I'm sure many of you are already aware, we love our clothing here, especially people that share our ideology. Well, Rumble has an actual store, and it's arrived. It's been something that's been asked for a long time. Well, it's here. They're now offering 20% off all purchases in the Rumble store right now with a discount code DROP20. If you want to support the brand that is fighting for free speech, folks, you just saw a bunch of people tear down the American flag and burn it to the ground and trash and vandalize the Liberty Bell, which speaks on behalf of liberty. But these people don't want it. They don't want your free speech. They don't want you to have guns. They want intifada. They want to destroy this country from the inside out. This brand right here supports free speech. And fighting for our First Amendment, this is the best way to do it. Just like you guys give your hard-earned money to the show here and support us. You keep the lights on. You keep us going. They have tees, sweaters, hats, plus much more. go to rumble.store and make sure you enter drop20 as the promo code to get 20% off your entire order. It will balance itself out because everything's about 20% more than what it was before. So you're basically getting this as if Trump was still in office, which is really nice and generous of Rumble sort of do for our channel here. 20% off for drop20 at rumble.store. And I also want to clarify, I usually save this for the end of the episode. So if you're still here, you're probably a longtime viewer of the Bald Brad Show. It goes into memberships. I'm not asking for memberships at this moment. I'm really not. I just want to explain something. Doing this, you guys, as I mentioned previously, again, I save this for the end of the show because this is mostly where people that are interested in the show and long time, like actual viewers stay. There is a time in the future where because I do this, I won't have a career job, if that makes sense. I hope that's not the case. I really don't. I love what I do for a living, but because of the nature of where we're at as a society, people don't like when you say things on the internet and then you go to your career job because they think that you're the same person on the internet that you are in real life, which I'm not. I've told you, I'm an introvert. I'm a very quiet guy. I'm a loner. I don't talk to too many people. And so they think you're the same person. I don't talk politics in the classroom. I don't talk about my YouTube show in the classroom. I don't want to talk about any of those things with my students. I want to talk about math because that's my job. I'm there to help them succeed in that subject. But there could be a time, because I do this, just to let you know that I won't have a job. And that goes into, like, please understand, like, I forgot, I don't know how to phrase it. Like, me saying these things and doing this is like the epitome of somebody contributing, meaning like I'm putting my ass on the line to do this type of thing. And I just want you guys to know that I really do believe in my convictions. Like, I'm putting my career on the line to be able to do this and to be able to speak truth and get conservative thought and ideas out there to new people. So it's not, yes, it's a hobby now, but this might turn into a real job sooner or later. And I hope I don't get let go, because like I said, I love my job, but I want you guys to know that I'm not going anywhere. And, that decision one day will have to come, unfortunately, to where, do I do this or do I lose my job? We'll have to see. I hope that never comes. But when that day comes, I hope you guys are there for me. I really do. And I mean that in all sincerity. That's where I start pushing memberships later. like, guys, no job no more. So, I wanted to preface that now because you guys are the people that tend to stay and watch the show, and you're kind of what Dan Bongino would call the P1 listeners. You've been listening for a long time, and really appreciate everything you guys do for me. Troy with another 5. Troy, what are you doing? You and Dan Bongino should team up for a show sometime. Troy, you know what? I would love that. Dan's my man, dude. Dan's my boy. I don't know. Is Dylan in the chat? Dylan, if you're in the chat, he's my Rumble content coordinator. Dylan, if you're in the chat, do you have any connections to Dan Bongino? Our audience definitely overlaps. I think Dan is live right now. I'm actually missing his show. I watch Dan every single day. And thank you so much, Troy, for the other $5, man. I greatly appreciate that. Thank you so much. Hopefully I didn't miss anybody else, right? I think Agent would have let me know if I missed anybody else. Well, Dylan's in the chat, but I think Dylan is connected to Dan Bongino, and maybe I could see. I did reach out to Alex Stein's team, his producer. Nothing ever came of it. And that happened like 2 days ago. So we'll see. Alex Stein is on Blaze Media. Like, I've tried to get on other people's podcasts just to have conversations, not to debate. But it's really tough, guys. We're a small channel. You know, when YouTube does their thing and people see, oh, you have almost 63,000 subscribers, that's great. But when they look at the views, they go, oh, well, we don't want to bother with this guy, which I get. I apologize for venting on your show. You don't need to apologize, Dizzy. That's what it's here for, man. It's a community. I am truly sane and not a lunatic. I apologize to all my offenses. You don't need to apologize, dude. That's what this is for. You just got to do it over at Rumble so you don't get banned. I'm not going to ban you. I just mean, like, YouTube might come after you. You don't need to apologize for anything, dude. That's what the community is for. It's like those coworkers or friends you have that like vent to each other. People need that. They need a place to air out their grievances, and this is it. That's crazy to think, Brad, but true. I can't talk about my beliefs at my day job, but yeah, and I mean, there's a time and place for it, but I don't want to talk about politics at my day job. You know what I mean? I'm there to do a job. They pay me good money to do it, so I got to do it to the best of my ability. But that's why I don't like people. I know we're going on a tangent here, and that's what this community is for, is to just be able to talk to each other. I don't like when people post things on the internet and then people try to go after them and say, "Oh, this person needs to be canceled. This person needs to be removed." Um, but if they're not doing it at the workplace, you know what I mean? What's kind of the issue? Like, I don't think we say anything in here crazy. You know what I mean? I'm not asking for anybody to be canceled or deplatformed. I'm not asking for death. I'm not asking for violence. I'm not asking for any of those things. So I think for the most part, if I was to be relieved of my duties, if that's what you want to call it, like, I would know, like, I didn't do anything wrong at the end of the day. I don't think anything we say on here is crazy or extreme. Like, I think we can all come around like, hey, crime isn't a good thing. Like, freedom of speech, like, pretty basic stuff here. So, but I just don't think that there's people that are on the left that are activists outside, say, the classroom or their normal day jobs. That's fine. That's like their right to do that. If they're not bringing it inside the classroom or their day job, but that's what they do on the outside, like they're an activist for climate change or LGBTQ stuff, I don't have a problem with that whatsoever. I honest to God don't. As long as you're not talking about it in the classroom or pushing an agenda or a narrative upon the kids, like, go out and be able to do it. But we're not in that time anymore. You don't, unfortunately, it seems like you don't have that right anymore. And the more we keep pushing the allowance of removing people from their careers, it's a very sad environment. I think you should be able to go out and say things that you believe in. You know what I mean? I'm on break at work. Luckily, I work with minded people in my apartment. Yeah, like my yeah. I'm in a career, my friend, that there's not many conservative Republicans in that career. I'm the same way, Brad. Can't talk politics in the workplace, and definitely can't afford to lose my job. Yeah, well, I can't. To be honest, I can't afford it either. But luckily, I have an amazing wife that supports me, and not that I would never work. If I did lose my job, I would have to increase reffing highly, and basically work every night till like midnight, and then wake up at 5 in the morning and do the show. But we'll have to figure that out if that ever comes. I hope it doesn't. I would love to do the show full time. I mean, that would be like a dream. We'll see if it ever comes to that, though. You never know. You guys are freaking awesome, man. I developed epilepsy. Oh, I'm sorry, Mizzy, and seizures, like activities from aneurysms being clipped. I get stressed, and my brain is literally. I've actually experienced people with epilepsy, obviously as an educator, right? It's scary to be around somebody when they're having a seizure. I've been around it. Hence the retirements and vacations. Yeah, I love it. Don't we all love vacations? If you get on a vacation, I don't know. Here next year there might not be any vacation. Oh, there's always grace, Dizzy. We get it, man. We get it. Dizzy, as long as you don't go out and do something violent, right? So I think that's kind of the scary thing in a chat when people are venting. It's like you don't want one of your viewers to go and commit some sort of violence because they're so pissed. You know what I mean? Not that you would even do that, but that's always been my fears. I don't want anybody in this community to think like violence is okay or go harm somebody. We hound Democrats here, but at the end of the day, they are Americans. Like they're people that you would expect if we ever went to war to rise up with us and fight for this country. And I think that idea is still there. I really do. It's the left that's the problem in this country. But I don't even wish any harm upon them. I don't wish harm upon anybody. I just want to be clear as day because later on people will try to go, oh, this guy was extremist. Like, I'm not. Been with my wife for 25 years and she just started having seizures. Oh God. Brought on from stress. It's a crazy thing. Stress is a crazy thing. I follow the law. Good, Dizzy. Dizzy's putting it in there in case the IRS are watching. I follow the law. Shit. Thanks, Jeff. I appreciate that, man. I'm glad you're here with us, Johnny. Trump is like the presidents from the decades ago. Some of today's people get offended way too easy. Oh, yes, they do. That's for sure. Banning the flag should be illegal. To be honest, Jason, my emotions want that, but my logic and reasoning based on the founding does not want that. And that's why it's tough, is like, I don't like it. You know what I mean? But I think people have the right to express their freedom of speech, and I think that's a component of it. And as much as I don't like it, and it's tough for me to say, I don't think it should be illegal. I don't go out to protest. I think it's dangerous. You never know if somebody's gonna have a gun and just come up and shoot you, or you just at the wrong place at the wrong time. So I kind of stick to my lane and in my corners, kind of keep to myself. It's gonna happen for you, Brad. I truly believe that. What's gonna happen? Me working full time for doing this, most people can meet in the middle. Both sides have radicals. Absolutely, yeah. I totally agree with that. Well, folks, that will be it for now. Unless something happens later on in the day, we'll end the live stream here. Thank you so much for being kind and just hanging out with me a little bit at the end of the show. If you guys like this portion where maybe at the end of the show, we kind of hang out, go through the chat a little bit and have conversations, we'll keep doing that at the end of the day. If something I'd like to do in the future is kind of like a mailbag, like the Ben Shapiro does, and also talk about things I like and don't like in terms of culture, like movies or things like that. I would like to get to that point in the show where Fridays we could do that towards the end of the show. Spend 20, 30 minutes going over some news on a Friday. Spend the last like 10, 15 minutes going over some questions that you guys have in a mailbag. If you want to email me those, we can cover them. Like a question, for example, that someone gave the other day was, if Kamala Harris gets put in place as president, like if they implemented the 25th Amendment, then, how does the vice president get put forth? Is it the Speaker of the House that gets placed in? Like, that'd be a good mailbag question that I can answer for you guys live. I just answered that just on the spot, but those are types of questions. If you want to email me, that'd be great. With that being said, folks, hit that like and subscribe button. Everything's there for you in the description section. Thank you so much for supporting me. We'll be back here tomorrow, 7 a.m. Pacific Standard Time for another episode of The Bald Brad Show. Take care, Patriots.